You're listening to Tech Gumbo on Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, Baton Rouge's local talk and information leader.
All right, welcome back to Tech Gumbo. This is Haggai Davis, along with Haggai Davis III, and we're talking. We're going to talk a little bit about ransomware. We're going to talk a lot about ransomware here over the next several segments. Many consumers really don't know anything at all about it, about what is ransomware, why they should know, and new research has shown a lot of people really are underestimating what ransomware is.
So ransomware is basically, it's a specific type of virus. You catch it in some way, it sits on your hard drive and it just waits. It waits and waits and waits, and then it seeps its way in, and then it takes all control of all your data, and then one day it just locks it all.
That's right. So, we've had a couple of businesses that we work with that have gotten them, and we've been able to trace it back that, they got the virus landed on their networks in February and didn't launch until June.
Right.
Because it wanted to get across the network and get as many different computers as it could, locking it down. And then, whatever launch date it picks, then you get these screens that say, your computer has been locked down. You have to, pay me, and until you pay me, you can't get into your hard drive. You can't see any of your information.
And there's a very fixed time window to pay. If you don't pay me within 2 days, it doubles. If you don't pay me within 4 days, your data is gone.
And or you just will never, if you never get the code, you never get back in, and it's a problem. This is really, really out of control. And there was this study that was done by Kaspersky Labs. Only 16% of American consumers had ever heard of ransomware. I've never heard of it outside of the context of this show. None of my friends know about it, and I have some pretty tech savvy friends. And that's part of the problem. And so, another 43% of respondents admit that they weren't aware. 9% believe it's something to do with the social media account, and just people are oblivious to this very, very real threat that's out there.
There's just so many different types of invasions that can happen to your data, to your privacy. It's hard to stay on top of all of them.
And so what'll happen, it's not like you can, because when this thing launches and it locks down your server, it locks down the PCs, it can lock down just your home computer. Right. Whatever it grabs and gets a hold of, it says you've got to put in, and it used to be a whole lot different. Now with the advent of the Bitcoin,
right,
you got to put in 1 Bitcoin in 72 hours. You got to transfer 1 Bitcoin to me in 72 hours. And the Bitcoins trade, different prices ranges. Right now they're somewhere between $450 and $500, but I've seen them up as high as $700.
Right.
And so if you don't go out and buy a Bitcoin and then transfer that to them, you've got to hope that you get that information, you get that code back.
Right.
We've had some companies who we had really, really good backups, off-site backups, that we could format all of the hard drives and just recreate everything from the backups. We've had some companies that didn't have good backups.
Right.
And they had to spend a lot of money. I have read stories. I read a story about one company. They got mad and said, "Screw you! We're not going to pay you anything." They went and wiped their drives and started over. Comes to find out, this guy, this hacker, when he found out that they wiped the drives, he had a backdoor access to get back in their network. Slammed it on them again, and this time he wanted 10 Bitcoins.
Ooh.
And and this was after they had just recreated the network and everything. I mean, it was an interesting story to read. And this guy got mad because this hacker got mad because they went around his system. And
he went around their system.
So he went around their system, and he got right back in and was trashing them, and it just, so it can be a very, very expensive, situation when you get yourself caught in. There was over $1 billion last year in ransomware.
Wow.
So, when you have that much money that's out there, and and they'll lock down photos, they lock down anything on your computer, whether it's music, files, anything,
any sort of data.
You just can't. You don't have access to it anymore. And so, when you have companies that have spent that much money, because the easiest thing to do is just, okay, here's the Bitcoin, go, and then if you get the code back,
right,
the decryption code, then all is good. And then you can go find the bug, and then you can get it out of your system, because the hacker's got his money.
Right.
That's all they want. They create their one hack. They put it out there, and then it's kind of like mailbox money. They're not working for their money out there. They're not all they do is just sit around waiting for that Bitcoin notice to hit their inbox, and they go cash that Bitcoin.
And I think a really important topic to talk about is why this is becoming a problem now. And it's because of the advent of Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, for those of you who don't know, it's a specific type of money. It's called cryptocurrency, basically. It's very secure. It's very, very difficult to trace, if not virtually impossible.
It is impossible to trace.
Impossible to trace. And so unlike a credit card, which has a number associated with it, which has an identity associated with it, and you can track that credit card, wherever it goes, whenever the Bitcoin hits the tunnel, it's gone.
That's right.
And so you don't know who got it. You don't know where it came from. All you know is you have this value now.
Whether, and most of these viruses are coming from either Russia, Romania, or China.
Right.
That's the three major players in this. So whether, whatever this guy sitting over there in Russia or Romania or wherever, China, he sees the Bitcoin, comes in, he goes to the exchange place, he gets his money, and he's out.
Right.
And so, or he can leave it in the account and let the account build, and whenever he wants to cash out, he cashes out, and that's how they do it. They use
technology.
They use technology against you, and so it's a real problem, and it's going to get worse because these guys can see the easy way to make money.
Absolutely.
And so a lot of these guys, there was a story on 60 Minutes about a year ago where they were going up to this guy in Romania. These guys, they have their own little fiefdoms, and they'll pay off the local sheriff or a local law enforcement guy to say, hey, look, anytime something's coming this way, you let me know, give me a lead, and I'm out of here. They're paying these guys these
absolutely.
Pay them off pretty well, and so before the law shows up, they're in Bora Bora on the beach.
Absolutely.
And so it's really, really a problem, and
it's not even that difficult for them to do.
No, it's not. It's really simple. They send this code out, and then you bounce around. You might get an email. It might be attachment on an email. You don't open the attachment, but or it might be on a website. If it comes to your email and your phone, and you forward it on to somebody, it can be in an app that you download from, especially if you have an Android phone, because there's no filter in the Android Play system, and so it's a problem.
Right.
There was one other story about some of these hackers that they have. Some of these guys are ethical, and they don't like it when hospitals get involved.
Yeah, it's one thing to make some money. Hacking is really, it's illegal to begin with, but there's a difference between going after a standard corporation and going after a hospital.
Yeah, they have no. Oh, Haggai Davis Services. Yeah, we're gonna nail him. Oh, that's Our Lady Lake Regional Medical Center. Oh yeah, they're taking care of people. We put them out of. We could be killing people by shutting down their system. Let's not do that. And so, there is some honor among some thieves apparently. And,
right.
And that I found to be rather interesting. They had one system over there in Los Angeles. A hospital got nailed pretty bad with what was called the Locky, the locking infection. And when they started communicating back and forth with this person, they told him we were a hospital. The guy was like, oh, you're a hospital. Okay, here's the code. And they gave up the code on. The hospital could have easily afforded the $500 or whatever for a Bitcoin, but as soon as he found out what was going on, oh wow, this guy had a heart. And,
right.
And so it was very, very interesting that this guy backed off just because it was a hospital. And so where did they draw that line? If it was, if it was a school, well, are you good there? Or do you're a school, we're taking you down. If it's LSU gets this,
right.
Oh, well, y'all beat, you beat our team last year, we're taking you down. So we're going to talk more about how to defend yourself about ransomware in the next segment. Again, you're listening to Tech Gumbo on Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, Baton Rouge's local talk and information leader.